you get through that fantasy stage and there's a discontent that begins to develop, is a devaluing stage where disrespect now begins to enter the relationship. Little shots, little lashing out. And so there's increased bouts of anger that begin to happen, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, and that can build into physical abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse. So the devaluing stage is they are now blaming you for why they're discontent. And they are lashing out at you. Now, they might not do this initially to your face. They might do it to their friends and say, you should see the biatch I got at home and all of this stuff. And they call you all kinds of nasty things behind your back. But that will begin to come into the relationship. And there'll be pot shots and all kinds of different things like that that will begin to take place. So then what you find yourself doing is walking on eggshells. Because you know they're irritable now. You know that little things set them off and they lash out. So you're now on eggshells. But what can also happen is both are becoming increasingly discontent with the other. And for the narcissist, their narcissism isn't getting fed now because you're not responding, so they can cheat. They go looking for somebody else to feed their narcissism. And then that means they have to start lying to you. And then as it progresses, so this is a progression. I want you to get that. This doesn't happen all at once. This is a gradual thing. But they begin to tell you less and less. And they begin to become a parasite. So they just basically look to mooch off of you. You're there as their meal ticket to pay their bills, to feed them, to take care of them, and they start to drain you financially and emotionally. They're a leech. And that begins to happen. Then they're still not happy. You're not happy. There's more conflict, more anger, more fear, walking on eggshells, that they start what we call gaslighting. And I'm going to do a whole night on that. But it basically is they get you to begin to doubt your perception of reality. They begin to get you to doubt yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, how you see things, so that you begin to think maybe you're crazy and you've got it all wrong. And what they're doing is wearing your self-image down so it's lower and lower. So they're bringing you to a zero. So you don't even believe what you see or think or feel. In your world, the only person that you think is seeing it correctly is the narcissist. And so they now have total power over you. You now have zero power, zero self-image, and that is a very dangerous, scary place. But that can happen all the time. What can happen at this stage, before it gets to the more severe stages, is the anger happens. You're walking on eggshells, then you make up and go back to the ideal stage, the honeymoon again. That wears down, and then you have another conflict because nobody's dealing with anything. You have a blow up, and then you go back to the honeymoon stage again. So you start a cycle of unresolved stuff where you have honeymoon, which gets shorter and shorter and shorter, and then blow up, which gets more intense, and then after a while, it just all goes down the drain. So that's the devalue stage. And that can go on for months and months. The third stage is what we call the discard stage or the replace stage. And that basically means they discard you and replace you with somebody else. So they are at this discontent. You're no longer feeding their narcissism. You're no longer being the mirror that they need. So they go and find a new person and they start to groom them. And as they groom them and love bomb them and mirror them, that person just explodes with gratitude and feeds the narcissist all over again. So that is what can begin to happen. And so Couple things when they're getting rid of you.